Hi friends, welcome back. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss about aberrations in lens. Aberrations means there is a defect in the formation of image when an object is focused through a lens. We are going to see two different kinds of aberrations. One is chromatic aberration, which is related to color of the image. Another one is spherical aberration, which is related to the focal point of marginal rays and the paraxial rays. Further, we are going to see an equation for longitudinal chromatic aberration and some of the suggestions to minimize this chromatic aberration. Then we will also see what are the various ways that is available for the minimizing spherical aberrations. And these are the topics that we are going to discuss in the present video lecture. Most of these topics are theoretical in nature. Let's see. Aberrations in lens. What is aberration? Aberration is nothing but when an object is formed as an image after the light ray from the object passes through a lens, and this object and the image should be one and the same. But there may be some deviations. Deviations in size, deviation in shape, deviation in position, and deviation in color. Right? So there may be some deviation from the originally expected image, that is theoretically defined image, right? So if there are some deviations in the image in terms of one, size or shape or position or the color, right? Theoretically, we could able to define the size of the image, the shape of the image, the position of the image and color of the image, right? If in the practical sense, in the actual sense, if there exists any deviation in terms of size, shape, position and color, then it is said to be aberrations produced by the lens, right? Aberration produced by the lens. And in our topic, we are going to cover two types of aberration. One is chromatic aberration, which is related to color of the formed image. Second one is spherical aberration, that is related to position of the formed image. We are going to see color and position. Okay, let's see what is chromatic aberration. What is chromatic aberration? As I said, chromatic aberration is related with the color, deviations in the color of the framed image. What causes the chromatic aberration? See, if you consider a prism, if a white light passed through it, what will happen? Guess? Yes. Instead of traveling straight, this white light undergoes deviation. Your first guess is correct. What happens further? Exactly. This white light splits up into its constituent colors. Right? Why? Dispersion occurs. Okay? This light is getting diffracted. Right? There exists an refraction within this. Refraction happens within the prism, but the refractive index is different for different colors. White light consisting of multiple colors, and the refractive index that determines how much this will be getting deviated. The light, the splitted constituent colors will getting deviated from its original line of direction. How much angle it will be deviated, that is depending upon the wavelength of the color, right? So refractive index depending upon the wavelength, and that is related to chromatic aberration here. So the lenses are made up of different kinds of glass materials like crown or flint material, right? When a white light passes through this lens, glass material, this lens will act like a prism in some sense, so that when a white light passes through the lens, it undergoes refraction, and that depends on wavelength. White light consisting of multiple colors, so which have multiple wavelength, so that the formed image of different colors may not be occur at the same place. Different colors will focus on different place after refraction through the lens. Okay, so that this aberration is caused due to the variation of refractive index, variation of refractive index with the wavelength of the light, with the wavelength lambda of the light. Here we are using white light. We are assuming that white light that is coming from an object which is consisting of multiple colors, so that there are different lambdas which create different focal point in the end. Okay, so that in the image, instead of single focused point, there exists a blurred image. There exists a defect of colored image, right? It is called chromatic aberration. This is called chromatic aberration. But at the same time, in the same lens, if you are using a monochromatic light, that is a light with single color, then there will be no aberrations. It will create a single focus point. That is, the chromatic aberrations will be removed if you use monochromatic light. How do we understand this point with an equation? We can write the focal length of a particular given lens. Focal length of a lens, which is equal to 1 by f, that is equal to n minus 1 by r1 minus 1 by r2. How did I understand this? If there is a lens, convex lens, then so this side you can extend, you will get, right? You can extend a sphere. This side also you can extend a sphere, right? And you can write radius of the sphere for first lens and radius of the sphere for second lens, right? So for this curvature, this is radius, this is r2. For this curvature, from this point to, from here to here, right, up to this point, this is r1. For this lens, from this point to here, this is r2, right? And this is a glass material. It is a glass material. It has a particular refractive index n. And now the focal length of this lens can be written as product of n minus 1 and the difference between 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2, where R1 R2 are the radius of curvature of these two lenses, right? Two curvature of lenses, right? So this is the equation. Now you see this n will be vary for different colors. N becomes NV if you are passing violet color. It becomes NR if you pass red color. If it becomes NY if you pass yellow color. So that 1 by F will be different for different colors, because for different colors the refractive index will vary. That's why this chromatic aberrations occurs. How it occurs? Let's see how the longitudinal chromatic aberrations takes place. Longitudinal chromatic aberration. It happens in longitudinal axis. First thing, let us consider a parallel beam of light. A parallel beam of light that is parallel to the principal axis, which comes from infinity, right? And it passes through the lens. And assume that this is a white light, and when this light passes through the lens, what happens? The angle of deviation is higher for violet, the angle of deviation is lower for red, right? So that violet color will be focused closer to the lens, whereas red color will be focused further to the lens. So this point will be the focal point of violet color, and this point will be the focal point of red color, right? So when you imagine lens, violet will be deviated much when compared with red. So red gets little deviation when it is passed into an lens. When the lens shows the prismatic action, violet will be deviated much, so it's focused closest distance from the center of the curvature of the lens. Now, so this distance we can write the focal distance. This point is a focal point, and distance will be focal distance. Say we can, if it is capital Fe, then we can define this is small fe and small fr. Now the difference between fr minus fe, that is focal length of red color to focal length of violet color, the difference between them. So that is the measure. This difference is the measure of this aberration. Instead of focusing to a single point, different colors were focused in different point in the horizontal axis, that is the longitudinal axis. That is why it is called the longitudinal chromatic aberrations for a parallel ray. Suppose, what would happen if the light ray comes from an point object, right? Let us assume that the object is located here and white light emerges out from this object. How it will focused as an image. Here also violet colored image will be focused quicker, whereas red color image will be focused in a further difference. So if you draw a line of intersection, that is if you draw a plane, and this will be, you can say that image of violet, this will be image of red if it is a point image, right? Now this again, here also this distance, that is, you can say that this distance is the measure of chromatic aberration. Okay, now when we place the screen at this place, you can get only violet colored image, and if you place the screen at this place, only you will get red colored image. If there is an white point object here, this object is an white source, white point source, right? This white point source will have a point image of violet color here, red color here, and if you move the screen from violet to red color, you could able to observe a minimized colored image at some point. A least colored round shaped image at some point between IV and IR, and that is known as the circle of least confusion. That is called the circle of least confusion. That is a midpoint between the different colors, mean point between the different colors. And the diameter of the circle, that is the image, will be like this, right? There is a circled image, and the diameter of the circle will tell you how the chromatic aberration is, how the extent this chromatic aberration occurs at that particular point. So this is the understanding point of longitudinal chromatic aberration. Let's write an equation for that. Let's write an expression for longitudinal chromatic aberration. So let us starting from this equation. Focal length of a given lens is this as equation 1. Now this focal length will be differ for different colors. Let me write the focal length of the violet color as NV minus 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2. This is equation 2. Then focal length of red color as NR minus 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2, equation 3, and yellow color NY minus 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2, equation number 4. Now subtract equation number 3 from equation number 2. Equation number 2 is equation number 3 is subtracted from equation number 2. That will give you subtract this equation from this equation. So 1 by Fe minus 1 by Fr, which is equal to this side NV minus 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2 minus N R minus 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2, right? If you expand this becomes, right, you can take 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2 as common, so that what you will get, this side 1 by Fv minus 1 by Fr, which is equal to 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2. Let's take common Nv minus 1 minus of Nr plus 1. Let's bring the minus inside this Nr minus 1. Now this and this will cancel. So resultant equation is Nv minus Nr multiplied by 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2. This is equation number 5. This is equation number 5. Now let's do one thing. Let's take here Fe into Fr. So we will write F R minus Fe, right? Left side. Right side it will become, let us multiply the numerator and denominator with Ny minus 1. So that what happens, NV minus NR by NY minus 1. That is nothing but the angular dispersion to the angle of deviation of the mean ray, that is nothing but dispersive power omega. So that here it becomes, this is omega, this becomes omega NV minus NR by NY minus 1 multiplied by NY minus 1 into 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2. This is nothing but omega into NY minus 1 into 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2 is nothing but F1 by Fy. So this becomes 1 by Fy. This side Fr minus Fe by Fe into Fr is equal to omega into 1 by Fy. This is equation number 6. Let Fr into Fe which is equal to Fy square, where Fy is the mean focal length of red and violet color. If this is the case, then here this equation number 6 becomes Fr minus Fe by Fy square. We can replace Fr minus Fe with Fy square, and right hand side becomes 1 by omega into 1 by Fy. So squared will cancel out. What's remaining? Fr minus Fe which is equal to omega times Fy. So this is the expression for the chromatic aberration in the longitudinal axis. Okay, so the extent of chromatic aberration which is based on the wavelength of the white light. Sorry, not wavelength, I mean dispersive power of the lens. It is based on the dispersive power of the lens. So this is how we can write a simple equation for the extent of chromatic aberrations of violet and red color for an convex lens for a parallel ray. How to remove that? Right? It is evident that if you are having a single lens, then there exists an chromatic aberration. So single lens you couldn't able to remove the chromatic aberration when you are using a white light, so that you need to take some corrective measures. What is that? We can use double lens. We can use double lens. So we will have two different equation for focal lengths. We will set in such a way that we could able to remove this chromatic aberrations. There are two cases. To remove the chromatic aberrations, we can put two lenses in contact. Two lenses in contact or two lenses with finite differences. Two lenses with finite distance. This configuration, in order to remove, in order to avoid chromatic aberrations, you can use two lenses which are in contact like this. Two lenses in contact. So this configuration is used in telescopic objectives. Telescopic objectives. And this two lenses with finite distance, that is, there is a lens here and there is another lens here, there is a finite distance d. This configuration is used on the eyepieces of the optical instruments. Eyepieces of the optical instruments. Right? So different configuration for removing chromatic aberrations will be used for different situations of applications. And such composition of lenses used to remove the chromatic aberrations is called achromatic system or achromatic combination of lenses. Fine. Now this is all about chromatic aberrations. Let's move on to spherical aberrations. So first topic, is over. Now let's move to spherical aberrations. Second topic is spherical aberration. Here, aberration is due to the large aperture of lenses, right? That is, let's consider there is a lens and this is the axis of the lens, principal axis. There are light rays which are traveling closer to the principal axis, and there are light rays which are closer to the margin of the boundary of the lens. Now what happens? The focal length of the marginal rays and the focal point of the marginal rays and the focal point of the paraxial rays are not same. They becomes different, right? They becomes different. Though it is coming from point source or it is coming from infinite distance. At any case, right? So it happens like this. So this is image of the source by marginal rays. This is paraxial rays. It is the source, right? Using these two diagrams, we would be able to explain the spherical aberrations. That is the light ray coming from infinity and light ray coming from a point source from a finite distance from the lens. Now what happens if the light ray travels about the margin of the lens? If the lens aperture size is effectively very large, in that case what happens? The marginal rays focus at a point in the principal axis. At the same time, the rays coming parallel and which are very closer proximity to the principal axis focuses at a different point. So here SM stands for the light ray that is coming towards the margin and it is focused at this point, while SP is the focal point for the paraxial rays. The similar for the point sources. Now the difference between the image of the paraxial ray to the image of the marginal ray. This tells you the extent of spherical aberration. How much spherical aberration is present in a lens system could be able to explain with the difference between the focal points. So in simple words, the failure to form a point image for a point object on an axis by a lens is called spherical aberrations, right? Now the spherical aberration for a parallel ray for a convex lens is said to be positive. If it is an concave lens, this is for the light focusing into a point, right? Converging lens. If it is a diverging lens, that is concave lens, then this aberration is said to be negative. For a convex lens, the spherical aberration is positive. For a convex lens, the spherical aberration is negative. What are the methods to remove this? Methods to minimize the spherical aberrations. So minimizing the spherical aberration. There are various methods to use the spherical methods. One is by using stops. How? If you want the image of the paraxial ray, we have to block the marginal rays. preventing the marginal rays entering into the lens. If you want the image of the marginal rays only, you can prevent the light ray of paraxial rays enter into the lens. How? We just put a block like this. That is, you are having a lens. You want block marginal rays. What is that? So you open only this position, you block all above position, right? So that what will happen if there is an point object here, only this paraxial rays will enter into the lens system, the remaining will not enter. That is, the rays going towards the marginal ray will be blocked at this point, blocked by the stops. Suppose if I want only marginal rays, what I can do? I can apply stop here, right? This is stop here. So that stops means a non-transparent material that will prevent the passing of light through it. So there is a source, only it will allow the marginal light ray. So it will be focused here, right? So that these are stops. These are called stops. Opaque material. Stops are opaque material which prevents the light passing through it. So one way is using stops, so through which we can allow only the desired light ray. That is the paraxial ray or the marginal ray. Okay. Another thing, second point is using the two lenses separated by a finite distance. So we can use two different lenses which are separated with a finite distance, right? Here the distance between the lenses are equal to the focal equal to the differences in the focal lengths of the spherical aberrations, right? So we have to place the distance between the two lenses in such a way that should be equal to differences in the focal length of marginal ray and paraxial ray. That is the condition to remove the spherical aberrations when we place two lenses separated by a finite distance. Third one is using aplanatic lens. We will see how aplanatic lens give you a proper image without aberrations. We will see a small derivation in the next lecture, but as of now you accept that aplanatic lenses, which is a special kind of lenses that is free from chromatic aberrations. And third one is using crossed lenses. Crossed lenses is nothing but it is a convex lens with the radius of curvature of two curvatures of lenses. There are two lenses, right? Generally we use R1, R2, these by having two different curvatures, right? One is like this, another one is like this. You could notice. So by changing the radius of curvature will differ for different lenses, and it will satisfy a particular condition, right? What is the condition for crossed lens? We will see now, right? We know that the equation for focal length is n minus 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2. 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2. Where R1, R2 is the radius of curvature of these two sides of a convex lens. Now, here the focal point of a particular lens system is depending, right, upon the radius of the curvature and refractive index. Hence, this aberration will also, spherical aberration will also depending on wavelength of the light. Wavelength is related to refractive index, so that it is depending upon the, so that the spherical aberration depending upon the refractive index, one, and second is it is also depending upon the shape factor beta, right? Refractive index is n, shape factor beta is nothing but it is the ratio between the radius of the curvature R1 and R2. Okay, fine. For a material, if refractive index is 1.5. For a material, if the refractive index is 1.5, then the spherical aberration will be minimum if beta is equal to, right, R1 by R2, which is equal to minus 1 by 6. This is the condition, right? As I said little earlier, the spherical aberration, which is depends on the refractive index and shape factor beta, where beta is equal to ratio between R1 R2, which is a shape factor. For a lens system where the refractive index is 1.5, in that case, if the shape factor is minus 1 by 6, then the spherical aberration will be minimum, right? Now, a lens system, a convex lens system which satisfies this condition is called crossed lens, right? Fine. So by using the crossed lens, one can minimize the spherical aberrations. So there are 4 ways that we have discussed to minimize the spherical aberrations. One is using stops, another one is using 2 lenses separated by a finite distance. Stops we have explained using the diagram. In a separated, in a 2 lenses separated by a distance, the condition is the distance between these 2 lenses must be equal to the distance between the image of the marginal ray, image of the paraxial ray. An aplanatic lens we will discuss in the next lecture, and the 4th one, crossed lens, we have given the explanation. Refractive index, if the refractive index is 1.5, then the shape factor should be minus 1 by 6. If a convex lens satisfies this condition, then it is said to be crossed lens. Using crossed lenses, we can avoid the spherical aberrations. With this, let me stop today. We will resume back in the next lecture. Until then, bye.